When I was a junior in high school, I went to a casino for the very first time with my mom and my sister, and my sister and I really couldn't do anything, but we had a really awesome room at this hotel. I think it was the New York, but it all looked really pretty, and it was dark, and even though it was daytime, it felt like it was like in the middle of the night, so you'd walk out and be super confused. But she wanted to try and gamble, so my mom went downstairs, and the very first thing she pulled was $1,000, and she won, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty rare.
Okay, so we're about to go in the casino right now and try to capture some film and pictures, mainly film, from my pocket. So, here we go. So one thing I noticed as I was filming from my pocket is that there were security guards literally everywhere. And they were, every time I'd walk by them, they were just watching me, and I was getting nervous because I was like, man, I've seen this movie too many times. You know, I was getting afraid of jail and what might happen to me in jail and stuff. So I was like, shoot, cool, okay, just play cool. And every time I walked by a security guard, I would put my hand by my phone, and I don't know, it was scary.
So my view on casinos has always been that they're kind of dirty, and that there's always smoking and cussing, and people are just gambling, which, I grew up in a Christian home, so I always knew that was kind of a sin. And so I never really liked casinos. I never really liked going to them.
I went to Vegas, and I stayed with a friend one night, and we both just walked around Caesar's Palace, and then we walked around a couple of the other places, and one thing I noticed was just how different every single theme was, and how the people in it were very different too. I think it's called Caesar's Palace, but most older people were there because there's a lot of shopping, and so I guess my aunt and uncle have a timeshare in Las Vegas, so when they go to they'll do March Madness, and so when my uncle is doing the bets for the games and stuff, my aunt will walk and she'll shop and everything, so it kind of caters to, I guess, age range too, because then you have the younger crowd that's there for a bachelorette party, or I don't know, just getting away kind of weekend, and they're probably looking more for the club scene. But I feel Las Vegas that's the only really casino I've ever experienced, except for one time I went to New Mexico with my aunt, and she's the coolest lady ever, and snuck me and my sister in to go to dinner there, but instead of going to dinner, we played her favorite game, and I only got caught at the very end, but I won $8, and that was the best, and I think I got ice cream or something with my $8, but best $8 ever won.
I remember last year on my birthday, I went to a casino, and I played blackjack for the first time, and my brother was like, do the $15 one, and all I went with was $15, and literally I was like, okay, here's my 15. She gave me the card, and I was like, hit me, and I went over, and just like that, literally 2 seconds, I lost $15, you know? It's amazing how fast you can lose money. I mean, you could also win money pretty fast, but it's not as often as you lose money.
Casino culture is very interesting because you have people that win a lot of money and also people that lose a lot of money. And when they lose money, it tends to, people tend to want to be able to come back from that loss, and so they put more money out there on the line.
The casinos kind of appeal to everyone in any fashion, whether it was you're a female or male or Chinese or Mexican or white, they appeal to every culture and every race, with different statues and different games and pictures and all the stuff that they had. They want everyone to feel like they belong and everyone to feel like they have a place there.
I had always heard that there were no clocks in a casino, so I was like, man, I need to check this out for myself. And so I did, and yeah, I did not see a single clock anywhere. It was just, you couldn't tell what time it was, you know? And time kind of flies in a casino. We got there around like, I'd say 8:45, and before I knew it, it was like 9:20, and it felt like we had only been there for 5 minutes. Like literally, we walked around for like a couple minutes, and then 30 minutes went by. So there's just something about it that makes it seem like you're not there a long time, but you are.
Some of the things I noticed when I was there is that like the lighting is super dim, so that you can't really see like what time of day it is. It just, everything kind of looks the same any time of day you go. Another thing that I kind of observed while being there was that everything there is like elegant, and like inside the hotel they had like a really nice like luxurious hotel, and like with chandeliers, and it made it look like super just fancy. And they even had like big buffets, and like everything was like lights and glamour, and like everything was kind of dressed up a bit. And obviously this isn't like the nicest hotel ever, but like or casino ever, but like it was pretty nice. And it kind of just like makes you feel like you're a part of something like luxurious and like fancy just being there, which is kind of a way to like manipulate your view on casinos.
The amount of trust that they have in the game is crazy, because they think that they're capable of beating the house, but in reality the house really always wins and has the advantage. People are emotionally attached to it. They put their money out on the line, and so that kind of gives them the sense that they're putting a piece of themselves out there as well. And so when they lose that money, they sense that they lost a piece of themselves, because they're so attached not only to the gambling but to the money itself. I think casinos are places where there's a lot of need for people that they think that they need money financially, or just they kind of want to get away from the world and kind of be an addiction in a sense, kind of be addicted to something.
There was a lot of like sad looking people, and that's like what really shocked me the most, because I'd been to casinos before, but like at this one there was just like so many like miserable people. Like you would think they'd be happy like spending time out and like getting the opportunity to make money, but they're all losing money, and everyone thinks they're gonna make a ton of money, and they keep losing money trying to make money. And then I got caught in that trap, and I lost money after winning money, because you get greedy. And I was getting mad, so I gave Gray $1 because he's white, and I was like, hey, win this, and he lost too. So it was really frustrating losing the money, so I understood why they were sad.
I personally wouldn't find myself on any given day gambling or spending time in a casino, but I can see why, from an outsider's perspective, it would be like appealing to someone who wants to try and gain a little bit of maybe control or entertainment, or just wants to, I don't know, try and win. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I would find myself inside a casino, but I understand how it would be appealing to other people.
If it seems like the house always wins in Vegas, it's probably because it does, and that's not by accident. Addiction is a science at casinos. Casinos work very hard to get you on the floor and to keep you there. Research papers, books, and even conventions have worked to understand what the best layout of the casino floor is and what keeps people shelling out the big bucks, even when they're losing. Research has found, for example, that fast music and red lights make gamblers bet at a faster pace. Women tend to spend more when the casino floor is less crowded, and a nice scent pumped through the vents might encourage a gambler to play that slot machine just one more time. Odds vary from casino to casino. The romantic concept of a proper Vegas vacation primarily revolves around experiencing the Strip, from its luxurious hotels to its glamorous casinos. While glitzy casinos on the Strip will always draw a crowd and can tilt their odds to give the house a substantial edge, those located in less touristy parts of town most notably North Las Vegas and the Boulder Strip, try to lure gamblers in the know with considerably better odds. In 2014, 25-cent slots returned on average 96.71% on each bet at the Boulder Strip, 96.61 in North Las Vegas, and just 91.52 at the Vegas Strip. Good gamblers want full tables. You might assume that an expert gambler would want to make their experience at the tables as isolated, remote, and individually focused as possible, given that distractions like inexperienced gamblers and excess chatter would seem unwelcome. For the savvy few that think deeply while they play, however, more players at a table slows down the game and offers more thinking time. On top of that, complimentary rewards are typically tied to the amount of time a gambler spends inside the casino. So, longer hands extend one's stay without forcing them to risk more money and bring the prospect of free meals and accommodations closer to fruition. Casinos are making blackjack harder. If you're in a rut at the blackjack table and you wonder to yourself why it used to be so much easier to cash in on that big 21 and balance ledger, it might just be you. Or you might actually be onto something. In the past few years, many casinos have quietly gone about lowering the payout on hitting blackjack from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5. In other words, if you bet $10 on a hand and draw an ace and a face card, you will now only come away with $12 where you once took home $15. While there should be visible placards to explain what the payout is, they can sometimes use complicated language or be in deliberately hard-to-view areas. Feel free to ask the dealer what the payout actually is. Free drinks come at a cost. You have to win an awful lot of money to duplicate the triumphant sensation of finding a server with a tray of complimentary drinks to offer you while you try to work your magic on the casino floor. For some, free alcohol is an integral part of the gambling experience. Unfortunately for most, that gambling experience winds up being a losing one, and the alcohol can be a part of that. Casino executives want the drinks to keep flowing so as to impair judgment and decision-making skills. In some ways, you could argue that it is the losses born out of inebriated gamblers that have been shuffled back into the casino's coffers to cover for those free drinks. The big, shiny wheel sucks you in. They are ever present in just about every casino, that big shiny wheel that screams for attention and serves as a stunning visual centerpiece in an area full of eye-catching sights. They look like fun and all, but guarantee that nearby spectators will be watching you play. These machines also happen to carry the biggest house edge of any machine in the room. Sure, it's exciting when you win, but those wins come few and far between, while folks with less snazzy machines in less central spots within the casino gain a better shot at instant riches. Baccarat is good for beginners. The game of Baccarat has long been associated with wealth and royalty, often being perceived as a game for kings, queens, and James Bond. In a Season 2 episode of Family Guy, Peter, looking to adapt the persona of a wealthy aristocrat, replies to an invite to play the card game with the quip, "Right Baccarat at you." But lest any commoners feel alienated by the high-rolling reputation of the game, it is actually an easy game to play with little skill required, few insightful decisions to make, and best of all, better odds against the dealer than your average card game. Larger chips make losing more palatable. You'll notice in many casinos that you are now encouraged to take larger chips rather than smaller ones. At best, casino patrons can view these chips as a fun accessory to their gambling experience that makes them appear to be bigwigs. At worst, they mean nothing to gamblers who care little for a difference in denominations when the overall value of the chips remain the same. For the casino, however, the larger chips often distinct psychological edge. It seems easier to throw down a single $25 chip than it does to count out 5 $5 chips, so the temptation is always there to bet more than you might really want to. Identical machine, different odds. Regular gamblers are adamant creatures of habit, often carrying superstitions that tie them to very structured, restrictive gambling experiences. They know how much they want to bet, which machines they want to use, and what little idiosyncratic patterns they want to follow. But maybe there's more to it than simple superstition. Machines that all look the same might actually differ in a very important way. They might pay different returns for certain winning hands. It is critical to compare the pay tables usually displayed on their screens before playing to ensure that you are maximizing your potential payout. Security is everywhere, even if you don't see them. Casinos know that there would probably be no greater buzzkill in a gambling environment than seeing a constant stream of intense, joyless, stern-faced authorities to make patrons feel watched and uncomfortable. You know there is some level of supervision on the casino grounds, but but you can immerse yourself at the slots or tables without sensing any looming presence of casino officials over your shoulder. Now, this doesn't mean that they aren't there. In fact, every casino has their own set of law enforcement officers who are posed as guests. These gambler watchers will typically move around the room, placing small bets at different tables without being overly invested in their winnings.
Okay.
Hey,
Cash out. Don't cash out?
it's a buck.
Where you're at 275 though.
Yeah,
That's what you can do.
They just give you money, now they're just gonna suck it all away. I say catch out.
Well, do I still have that?
Yeah.
F. Thought these were the loosest slots.
That's how they get you. The first money you put in, they automatically win money. And then you think you're gonna win more, and then they just go, here, great.
You're white, you must win.